2023 has come like a hurricane. Inflation, geopolitical conflicts, bubbles about to pop all around. Housing bubble, car bubble. Wait, you don't know about a car bubble and you are planning to buy a car? Watch this video first, because by the end of it you'll know how this bubble is affecting you and how you can buy a car 20% cheaper. But how did we end up in a bubble? How can such a simple thing as a car cause so much trouble? And how is this bubble affecting every American? Well, the car bubble that we found ourselves in today is a direct result of the COVID-19 pandemic and the economic turmoil that it's caused. The pandemic has brought instability and decline into many industries, with the production industry being one of the hardest hit. The lockdowns and widespread shift to work from home also played a major role in the current car bubble. As people were stuck at home and unable to travel, many found themselves with a lot of extra money but few ways to spend it. At the same time, the government's response to the pandemic include printing a large amount of money to support the economy and giving people stimulus money, which further contributed to the car bubble. As people found themselves with extra money, they began looking for ways to put it to use. With travel and other activities largely off limits, many people turned to purchasing big-ticket items like cars. The low interest rates offered by banks at that time also made it more attractive for people to take out loans to purchase cars. The automotive industry was further impacted by the chip shortages caused by the pandemic, which led to manufacturers canceling orders and an overall shortage of new cars on the market. As a result, used car prices skyrocketed as millions of consumers sought to purchase vehicles with their unused funds. This perfect storm of low interest rates, lack of new cars, and an influx of stimulus money has led to a chaotic situation in the auto market, with people paying exorbitant prices for used cars, even for those that are in poor condition. Dealers are also refusing to sell cars for the manufacturer's suggested retail price, further exacerbating the problem. According to Copilot research, in July 2022, people were paying on average $33.3 thousand for a used car. However, by the end of 2022, the dynamic has changed from rising prices to falling prices, and now, according to Kelly's Blue Book, the average used car price is around $27,000, which is significantly less than $33,000 we saw in July. If we use calculators, we'll see that it is almost 20% less for used cars. What about new cars? According to Kelly Blue Book, in January 2023, the average new car price was topped at $49,500. In November, this figure was around $47.7 thousand, according to Edmunds research. Now you may ask me, used car prices are going down, new car prices are going up. Is that a bad thing? Well, yes, and I'll tell you why. The main reason it's bad lies in the nature of such price drop for used cars. As we all know, such rapid price drops are not motivated by people's desire to give a good deal, but by desperation. And now it's not hard to guess the reason for being desperate: high interest rates on loans. One of the major consequences of the high interest rates is that many people are unable to pay off their car loans, leading to an increase in repossession. The number of repossessed cars is on the rise, with many of the repossessions stemming out from loans taken out in 2020 and 2021. Even individuals with high credit scores who have a history of paying their debts on time are not immune to repossessions. This, in turn, has led to an oversupply of used cars on the market, which has driven prices down. The abundance of used cars on the market is also making it harder for people to sell their cars and get out from under their loans. This is particularly true for those who are in a difficult financial situation and need to sell their cars quickly. As a result, many people are finding themselves stuck with cars that are worth less than they owe on them, which is making it even harder for them to pay off their loans. That may seem like a personal problem for those people, but as banks repossess cars and put them on sale while prices are falling down, banks start losing money again. The problem for banks is that they loaned money to these buyers and it inflated prices, and now, as the value of these cars plummets, they are facing significant losses. And banks don't like losing money, so they increase interest rates for regular people on all type of loans, thus making the situation worse. To make matters worse, many of these loans were securitized by Wall Street and sold to investors as super safe investment. This means that the impact of these losses may be felt not just by the banks, but by investors as well. As people get more desperate, they start dumping their paid-off cars for whichever price they can, thus driving used cars prices even lower. It's all connected. Furthermore, the high interest interest rates and the oversupply of used cars are also leading to a decline in the demand for new cars. We now don't see falling prices of new cars, but rising prices can be an indicator of hard times for dealers, since they need to generate revenue somehow to stay afloat, and the only way they can do it is by increasing prices. So what you can do? Can you weather out this storm without losing money? And how can you buy a car for next to nothing? If you are already a car owner looking for a new car, I have both good and bad news for you. If you won't sell your car now, by the end of 2023, it will be worth much less. Good. By the end of the year, used cars prices will fall. The way I see this situation is that if you're dead certain on buying a new car and can live without a car for some time, now is a good time to sell while prices are above the worth of cars. If you sell your used car now, you are likely to receive more for it than you'll do in November. But this solution leaves you in a pickle. You have to survive until the end of the year without a car, and we all know how difficult it is to be a car-free person in America. If you decide to go this way, you will need to use public transport, car sharing and taxis. I know that some people can't stand these means of transportation, but it's only a question of your choice. Is a year of comfort worth $6,000 to $10,000? Yeah, that's how I expect prices for average cars to fall in 2023. If you can stand public transport for a year, go for it. If you are working from home and your average ride isn't further than the nearest Walmart, then you should easily survive with a taxi. Plus, let's not forget how many families in the United States have 2 cars or more, so with a little rearrangement of plans and getting up a couple minutes earlier, 1 car should be enough to deliver both partners to work. However, if you are unwilling or unable to survive without a car or need a car right now, there is a way for you to save as much money as you can. First, take the time to check out different car models, brands and prices. Compare the features to see which one is the best deal for you. Remember that fully loaded cars depreciate just like bone stock cars. Think about how much the car will be worth in the future before making your decision. Don't buy a car that's more than you need, you'll just lose money if you do so. Second, look for any deals or incentives offered by car manufacturers and dealerships. These can sometimes make buying a new car more affordable. And don't forget to scout for offers from banks like auctions. Auctions are a great place to buy a used car if you can verify its background. Third, make sure you're selling your car for the best price possible. Some people simply neglect their cars, causing small things to malfunction. Most of the time, a repair job doesn't cost too much and can be done in a couple of days. What people don't realize is that every buyer who will see a neglected car will have reason to haggle for every cent, bringing the price down. For you, it means getting less than the car is worth, which is not ideal. Make sure your old car is up and running smoothly, that it's detailed and clean. Most of the time, a $500 investment in a car can result in getting an additional $1,000 off of sale. Okay, and how about people who already have money on hand and want a car? My suggestion will be to wait for the prices to cool down. The prices will continue going down, with JP Morgan predicting even 20% drops from what we have right now. If we apply that to the data from Kelley Blue Book, which said that now an average price for a used car is $27,000, we'll get a price of a little over $21,000 by the end of the year. But I think we can safely assume that those predictions are slightly lower than the reality will be, as it always is. So I guess if we say that by the end of the year you will be able to save $10,000 on your new car, that won't be far from truth. The current car market is experiencing a bubble, with prices for used cars falling and new cars becoming increasingly expensive. As a result, the market is becoming increasingly challenging for car buyers, with many struggling to find the right balance between getting a good deal and finding a car that meets with many struggling to find the right balance between getting a good deal and finding a car that meets their needs. It's important to consider all options and consult with financial professionals before making any decisions. Keep in mind that the information provided in this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only, and the creators are not responsible for any actions taken based on the information provided.